Hey Bears, this is Madden again. I wanted to tell you guys thank you so much, those of you who have done a great job going through your notes, taking your quizzes, staying on top of your work. Some of you have just joined us, and so I want to thank you too for, for taking the time to put forth some effort into this. I know this is not normal. This is totally brand new, and we just have to make the best of it. And I know we can do this. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to keep this short. I'm going to work out some of these problems, and in Google Classroom, you should find a copy of this assignment. And I'm not going to assign all of these problems to you. Let me we'll work out 3 to 4 problems, probably just like 3 problems, so you can get an idea. In reading some of the comments in the video that I posted on Monday, I'm kind of concerned that there might be a little bit of confusion. So we definitely need to take a second, stop, and look at again at molarity and what that formula really is. So again, we're going to continue with our same objective we've been working with. Today we will investigate molarity so that we can understand the relationship between moles divided by volume. And here's our formula for molarity. Remember, what is another word for molarity?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that.
That was Google chiming in. Um, she didn't know either. Another word for molarity is concentration. And so we're looking at the concentration of a solution, how much solute there is per solvent. And so in order for chemists to make this calculation, we have to know how many moles of that substance there are, divided by the liters, the total number of liters or volume of that solution. So another word for molarity is concentration. Another word for liters that we are going to be seeing is volume. And moles is moles. All right. I added this little pyramid here, and I'm sure you've seen this, something similar to this, in maybe your math class or some other formulas that you've used in science. So let's just try to make this as easy as possible. Let's talk about how this pyramid works. If we are solving for, let me grab my little finger here. Um, If we are solving for molarity, where the problem says, what is the molarity? Just like in this first problem here, what is the molarity? Then that means that we are solving for big M. Whoops. We're solving for big M. So when using the pyramid, we would cover the M, and the way we would solve for M would be taking the moles divided by the liters. Remember, our volume needs to be in liters. And our conversion for, the problem happens to give us milliliters, it's 1,000 milliliters equal to 1 liter. And so we have to do that conversion, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so that's if we are working on a problem where it says, what is the molarity? We're solving for M. We would cover the big M, and then it tells us, okay, we take our moles divided by the liters, all right. But in some of these problems, it might say, okay, you have your molarity, and it'll give you maybe the volume, and it's asking you to solve for moles. The way the pyramid works is we would cover moles. And in this situation, when items or numbers are side by side, we would multiply them together. So to solve for moles, we would take the molarity and we would multiply by liters. All right. Now, on some other problems, it might say, okay, this is your concentration. This is how many moles you have. What's the volume? So when we're solving for volume, we would cover the L, and now we see that we would take the moles, and because molarity is underneath it, we would do moles divided by molarity or concentration. So this is just, this little triangle is just to help make solving these problems just a little bit easier. I would normally not depend on them too much, but we're kind of in unusual circumstances, so I'm gonna give that to you to help you. All right, so our first problem, I'm gonna try to keep with a color code here. Says, what is the molarity? That right away tells me we're solving for M, right? This is our M. M is molarity. This is going to be our X. We don't know what our concentration is. So if I'm going to use the triangle, I'm going to go ahead and cover my big M because I don't know what my other numbers are yet. I haven't even read the whole sentence, but I do know that what is the molarity means that we're solving for M. Okay, so let's keep going. What is the molarity of a 0.3 liter solution? All right. Now here we have, it's saying 0.3 liter. Well, that number is definitely going to end up right where our liters are. And it's great because it's already in liters. We don't need to do any kind of extra conversion. So here is our liters right here. And then containing 0.5 moles of sodium chloride. 0.5 moles of sodium chloride. Okay, I have my variables. I know what I'm solving for. I know we're solving for M. We just need to plug into our formula. We're going to put our moles right here over our liters, which is 0.3. So if we were writing that, we would basically write 0.5 over our volume, which we said was 0.3, and this is going to equal, we're solving for our M. All right. If I was putting this in a calculator, I would always put the top number in first, so 0. I don't like that color. Let me fix that just so we can see it better. 0, what on earth? It refuses to change. Hopefully you can see that yellow. 0.5 divided by 0.3 equals. When I put that in the calculator, here we end up with our answer. 1.6666666, so on, so on, so on, so on. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So this is greater than 5. This moves our number up 1. And so our answer is 1.67. 1.67. Now, my units. You always need units in science because right now this number doesn't mean anything. It's just a number. The units is what gives meaning to this number. This is not just any number. It's the concentration of the solution. And so we always need to make sure we have units in science. And because we were solving for, it says, what is the molarity? If you forget, go back and look at your problem. What is the molarity? We're solving for M. Our unit for molarity is capital M. So recap. If we had a 0.30 liter solution containing 0.5 moles of sodium chloride, its concentration would be 1.67, and its molarity, capital M, moles is MOL. Capital M stands for molarity, concentration. All right. Let's go down and let's take a look at number 4. Number 4, right here. Let me move my little square here. We're starting a new problem, so we can take a look at that, figure out what we're doing there. Okay. So it says number 4. How many moles of sodium chloride are present in 600 milliliters of a 1.55 m sodium chloride solution? All right, let's break this apart. First of all, it says from the very beginning, how many moles? So right away, we know that we are solving for moles. So I'm going to move over to my little pyramid, and I'm going to cover moles because that's what we're solving for. So we don't know how many moles there are. How many moles? And when doing this first at the beginning before you even set it up helps you better, to anticipate what's going to happen next. In order to solve for moles, we need to know what our concentration is. We need to know the molarity, and we also need to find a volume. And when we do that, we're going to multiply those two numbers together. Remember, when numbers side by side, you multiply them. All right. Moving on to the next part of our problem, the next number we come across is 600 milliliters. 600 milliliters. And that is definitely a volume right there. Now there's something up with this because remember, our volume needs to be in liters. And we're running into a situation where we have milliliters here. So this is going to require some conversion. Let's go ahead and do that while we're here. So we have 600 milliliters. And we need to convert that to liters. Looking back at our conversion factor, there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So we're going to put 1,000, we got to divide. 1,000 milliliters would be equal to 1 liter. There's a so much easier way to do this, okay? Milliliters basically has 3 zeros there at the end. If we took our 600, let me write this down. I don't know where I want to write this down. If we just took our 600 and let's say we start right at the end of that 600, all we need to do is move our decimal over to the left, to the left, to the left 3 times. We don't even need to put this into our calculator. So 1, 2, 3. Our new answer for our volume, just so we don't have to put it in our calculator, is 0.6 liters. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't do more work than what you need to. And the only reason why, you don't even need to show me this part necessarily. I need to see that you converted it, okay? But the only reason at all that I'm even writing this is so that there's no confusion. We had 600 milliliters. We can't use milliliters in our problem. It has to be in liters every time. And in order to do that, we would take our milliliters, divide it by 1,000, and then get our conversion to liters. But ultimately, all you're doing, because there are three zeros in the 1,000, is move the decimal over to the left, to the left, to the left. And this is only for volume when it's in milliliters. That's it. So 1, 2, 3, we moved it over. Here's our answer. Okay, moving on. All right, next piece. So now we have our volume. It's converted properly. In order to solve, we need to have our concentration. So let's highlight what our concentration is. We see in our problem it says 1.55 m. It doesn't even say molarity. It doesn't say concentration. It says 1.55 m. So how do I know that this is my concentration that I'm looking for? It's that unit. Capital M is the unit for concentration. It's the unit for molarity. So that's how I know that I'm going to end up plugging that in right here for my big M. All right, so let's do this. We're solving for moles. How many moles? We're going to take our molarity and multiply it by our volume. Okay, our molarity is 1.55, and we're going to multiply it by 0.6. All right, so I plugged those numbers into my calculator. I end up with the answer 0.929999. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth. This thousandth, 9 is bigger than 5, which means this 2 is going to go up 1. So our final answer for moles, because that's what we were solving for, is going to be 0.93. And we need to use the units. So our unit is mole. That's what we were solving for. All right, so that is a couple of problems. I worked out several yesterday. Worked out these 2 for you. You now need to complete. I would like you to complete problems 2, 3, 5, and 6. 2, 3, 5, and 6. So that's 4 problems for you to complete. And you will be getting a quiz on Thursday over this. So please take some time to work through these problems. I know it's real easy. You want to, just go straight to the quizzes and just kind of, select answers. That's not going to help you. I've been trying to be very careful about how long I make these videos and cognizant of, that you're taking many other classes on top of this. So I'm certainly going to give you the time that you need to complete what you need to. So don't worry about that. If you're running into issues, please email me, send me a message. It's better if you email me because I'm checking my emails all the time. If you send a comment, I might not see it till like the next day when I'm going through and seeing who's participating and who's not. So if you're looking for an answer right away, please just email me because that's what I'm checking most frequently throughout the day. Starting today, I'm also going to have office hours. I'm going to it's going to be through Zoom. If you need help with tutoring or whatever, it's basically that's what it's going to be. So I will put all that information in the Google Classroom in the directions. I'm going to ask that you please make sure that you have parental permission to attend, and I'll just wait and see. Like I said, I'm trying to make myself as available to you for whatever help that you might need. But please stop by, ask your questions. If you don't want to, that's cool. Email me. You're doing a great job, and I'm so proud of you. Hang in there, and let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Talk to you guys soon.